Hi, everyone. Welcome to my podcast, Con Unmuted. Um, this podcast is something that I'm launching because I have experienced a lot of things out there. I talk to a lot of people, and there's a lack of understanding about topics like leadership, cultural intelligence, emotional intelligence, right? Because a lot of those topics are more geared toward educating leaders, right, within organizations, industries, but they're not really available to uh, regular Joe, right? If I'm not a director or some sort of manager, I don't know about this, right? And I don't spend money trying to buy books and read about them. So the goal of this podcast, called Kind of Muted, is to kind of have guests come on my show and talk about their experiences with leadership, with cultural intelligence, with emotional intelligence. So the show is going to be framed in a way that they are bringing in their experiences, stuff that they have experienced. We won't be talking about like definitions about what a leadership is, right? We won't be defining what emotional intelligence is or cultural intelligence is. No, it's going to be a free form where my guests will talk about stories, things that happen to them that when you look at it, it was an example of situations where they had to deal with leadership, they had to deal with culture in general, or they have to deal with emotional intelligence. So this show would just be like guests coming over, us just talking and sharing our experiences, and we will make sure that those stories are relatable to day to day person, and those stories are like funny, like one example I can give right now of failures of leadership, right? That I can bring it back to the way I grew up was growing up in Togo. We have video games, but in the 80s, we only have one video game in the neighborhood, and it was at my home. But we didn't spend time playing video games, right? All we did was play sports, go out there and play with sticks, right? Imagine that. Just grab a stick on the street and play with it. That's what we did. So, this example of a leadership situation that I'm trying to, convey here is that, so one day it was me and three other friends, right? In the group, we had a leader. It's just assumed as a kids, when you hang out, you know who the leader is. You know who the first in command is and the last in command is. So it's always like that. I mean, so we had each had slingshots. Each had slingshots, and we decided to go and try to kill lizards in abandoned houses. Right? People build their houses, they're not finished, and we just go and play hide and seek, and try to kill lizards. So we were trying to kill a lizard, and we see this lizard, and the lizard runs and goes in the hole on like a concrete wall. So the hole was something like this, where the lizard just went and jumped in the hole. So the leader, the assumed leader of the group, decided to pick one person to go and scare the lizard out of the hole. So this dude, the leader, picks one of us, right? And thank God it wasn't me. So he picks one guy. So one of the kid goes and he gives him a stick. He gives him a stick and says, well, go and scare the lizard out. Once you scare the lizard out, we will kill it with our slingshots. So this guy goes and stands right next to the hole, started jamming the stick in the hole. He's jamming the stick in the hole, but the lizard doesn't come out. The leader says, how about you bring your head and try to look inside the hole and see if you probably killed the lizard by putting your stick inside. So once this guy brought his head to look inside the hole, the lizard gets scared and jumps out. So the lizard jumps out. The goal was to get the lizard out so we can kill it. So guess what? Slingshot, boom. This guy gets hit in the face. So what happened next was it was really scary because blood started gushing out everywhere, and the leader now takes off and started running. I turn around, me and the other guy, we turn around. The guy that was in charge of the group, he just took off, started running and running and running. So we were like, well, what are we supposed to do? We gotta run as well. So the second guy, who's supposed to be the second in command, takes off. By the time I made my decision to run, he takes off and runs. Now it leaves me standing there, and this guy is standing by the wall and screaming and crying and blood everywhere. So I go and guess this guy. I'm like, sorry, and I am 100% sure it wasn't me that hit him on the eye, and he was bleeding so much that I thought his eye was, something happened. We probably that guy will never see again in that eye or something like that. So I was scared. I took off my shirt, put on his eye, dragged him to my house. My house was the closest to where we were at. So I take him to my house, and my mom was there. My mom freaks out, right? My mom calls my dad. They take him to the hospital, and once my dad takes this guy to the hospital, guess what happened? I get ass whooping, right? So now all of it, right, was put on me because I was the guy that dragged him to my house, and from my house he got sent to the hospital. So this is just an example of how sometimes there's a breakdown in leadership, right? You have a manager, something happened, you have a manager, the manager says, oh, that's not on me. And the supervisor says, oh, it's not on me. Now the lead is the guy that gets blamed, right? Because he's the third in command, and would get punished for something that he probably didn't have much to do with, right? So this story is just to talk about, an example of a situation where, the leader lack of courage, right? The leader lack of courage, can have a breakdown in organization or family, friendship, or whatever it is. So now, the moral of the story is, guess what? That guy, I don't trust him anymore. So, lack of trust. After that, everywhere we go, even if we hang out, I'm always on my guard. I don't trust him. And when there's no trust, oh, trust me, nothing. You can't do anything. When someone doesn't trust you, you can't do anything. So this show is going to be something like that, talking about stories, explaining, like me traveling and experiencing different cultures. My experience, funny stories, plenty that happened to me traveling around the world, and my guests will bring in their perspective. They will talk about their stories, and all these stories will be related back to leadership, cultural intelligence, and emotional intelligence, right? So that's what this show is going to be about. The goal is to people to watch, the episode, people to watch the clips and take something from it, right? To conclude, I'm excited. I'm excited to get this started. Like I said, I don't know if I said at the beginning of the intro, the podcast is going to be called Khan Unmuted. Obviously, I'm Khan. I go by Dami as well. I go by Ashil. It's kind of like Achilles with no S. So Ashil, that's my middle name. It's Achilles with no S. So it's the same thing. It's just that the French don't put S after Achilles, right? It's just Achille. So one aspect of this show as well is going to be I'll be talking to people from different countries, different languages. Mostly it's going to be French and English, right? I will interview some of my friends from Europe, some of my friends from Africa, some of my friends from South America, and here in the U.S. And there will be a lot of perspective, shared about leadership and stuff like that. The more we understand each other, the more we will respect each other. The more we'll be, willing to get along and kind of live in harmony. I don't know why I'm doing that, but there you go. So that's what the show is going to be about. My first episode is going to drop soon, within a week or two. And the first guest is going to be my best friend from Minnesota. His name is Yuri. He's going to come on, and we will definitely share how we met and a lot of stories. We went to college together, University of Minnesota. So we're going to talk about that. Probably talk about family and stuff like that. And then after that, I think the second episode is going to be my nephew. I'm really proud of that guy. So Roland is doing a lot of great things, and I want to bring him on to, so we can share some stories, him growing up in America and stuff like that. So that's going to be interesting. That's going to be the show. Hey, I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you guys join me on this journey. It's going to be great. The goal is to put something in the universe. Hopefully it helps people. People can find value in what we talk about, because it's going to be a diverse stories, diverse groups, and everyone will share their stories, and it will help. So let's keep this going, trying to get episodes dropped, and hopefully it brings another perspective, like me being an immigrant, understanding the US, putting my European understanding and culture and African culture mixed with American culture. All of that will be part of the show. So I don't know how to finish this, but what I have to say is stay tuned. I'll be coming soon with the first episode. All right. See you guys.